What's good, fam? Look, if you've ever found yourself in a situation where you got hit with the rush of fear when you wanted to go and talk to a girl that you found attractive and you liked, or you were in a situation where you had a gift or a talent or a service from a business and you wanted to put out there to somebody what it is that you have, but had hesitancy and started feeling fear about, what happens if I do it and didn't do it. I need you to understand with any of these situations, it comes down to a fear of not being enough. I'm telling you from personal experience, if any of you all relate to that, you're not alone. Understand that anytime you have these fears, what it really boils down to is on a deep level, you question or you don't feel like you're good enough for whatever the case is. For me, I struggled with so many years, fam. When I tell you a lot of years, I mean a majority of my life where it wasn't even just getting rejected. I just didn't even give myself the opportunity because I was afraid. I'd constantly see girls that I liked, or the moment I saw her, like, what the fuck? Like, thinking that she's fine as fuck and having thoughts about, man, I gotta get to know this girl. I would love to date this girl. I would love to smash. All of these things. But words never came out. I never took those steps in regards to approaching because deep down, and I wasn't even aware of it, but deep down, internally, I didn't think I was good enough for this girl. Thinking that she's attractive, this girl wouldn't go for a guy like me. I may not have been saying those things, but my actions scream that. So I need you to understand, if any of you can relate, that's really what it boils down to. And if you wonder what that is, when you don't feel good enough, meaning you put your self-worth in what somebody thinks about you. And that's what creates the fear and anxiety and the lack of action when you get in those situations. It's same thing with business. If you have a product, a service, some of you may have talent. I have artists, I have athletes, I have people with all different types of gifts and talents on this platform. Or some of you, if you're new and you may fit the billing and can relate, you got these things and you got your product. Internally, you know that you're good at what it is you do, but you don't put it out there because you don't think people would buy your product, or people may think, oh, that's too much, or whatever the case is. And another area that I struggled with, if anybody can relate, social media has done a good job of making you think that you're not good enough if people don't fuck with you, or they don't follow you, or support whatever it is you have. That's another thing. Like, none of these things should have created fear, but it does, because at the end of the day, we all want to just feel accepted. We all want to feel liked by somebody, especially the people that we like too. And a lot of times that can create fear and anxiety, and it shows up with dating, with business, all of these different things. And the thing is, what I had to learn, and I'm sharing with you, if you don't know, a lot of times that's a wound from the past. Whether you had a history of getting rejected and not having support when you got rejected, or something or somebody to help you process what you're dealing with, or to tell you, look, that doesn't mean that you're less than if somebody rejects you. That just means they're not a match, or somebody doesn't want whatever it is that you offer. They don't like your gift, your talent, your service, your product. That doesn't mean it's not good enough or you're not good enough. That's just not a match. What you have doesn't match. If you had experiences where you got rejected constantly without support, that's going to create fear, and that's going to create a wound. If you had emotional neglect, you didn't get support from your parents, your family, or got the exact opposite of that, that's going to create fear when it comes down to going for things you want, because there's a lack of safety. And a lot of times, if you're anything like me, I associated a lack of getting rejected as a means of survival. Basically, what I mean is, if I have blindfolders on, my nervous system, my body responds the same way to getting rejected as if I was in danger of a tiger or something that could kill me chasing me. Not the same, obviously not the same situations, but that's how the mind is processing. And when you've had situations in your past that have threatened your security, your sense of self-worth, how you see yourself and feel about yourself, you're gonna look for these things, a girl liking you, or if she accepts you, or somebody wanting your business or your product, or any of these other things, or you being enough for your followers, or for your peers, your friends and stuff, because we all know a lot of people, they look at your following. That determines if you somebody, if you actually are successful in life and things like that. So a lot of times we have fear because that makes us question or decide if we're enough. And none of these things determine your self-worth. I guarantee you, anybody that's watching this video now, don't take as long as it took me to learn that we had self-worth long before we liked a girl, long before we had a business or a talent or a gift and knew what that was, long before we knew what the fuck Instagram followers, TikTok followers, or any other things are. We had self-worth long before that. And then we grow up and then people start comparing and telling you that you ain't the shit if you don't have this and that. And now when it comes down to you living life and being a person where you should be able to see a beautiful girl that you want and simply go up and just introduce and try and have a conversation. See if there's a vibe, and if there's a vibe, you invite that girl to hang out with you where you can just continue what you all did there. How it should be is you should absolutely be able to do that. But because of all of this old bullshit with the fairs and things you have, or things you experienced in the past, you have a fear of rejection because you don't think you're good enough. You didn't get the support, the emotional support. You didn't get the insurance. You didn't have people to help you build the self-esteem and tell you that, look, if you get rejected, that doesn't mean that you're less than. All that means is you have a key. Look at it like this, fam. Anytime when it comes down to rejection with dating, business, social media, anything along those lines or whatever the thing is, look at it like a key. Whatever you have, whether it's you with dating, your product with business, your gift and talent with people, your following, your platforms, whatever the case is, it's a key. And all you're doing is when you put yourself out there, if you struggle with putting yourself out there, all you're doing is just trying a key. And if you get rejected, all that means is your key, it doesn't mean it's a shitty key or the key doesn't work. The key's gonna work for some lock. You just have to understand that that key, your key doesn't work for that particular lock. You go over here and you try it. And understand, your key is gonna work for some locks and your key is not gonna work for some locks. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that you're less than a person, and it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. Point blank, period. So I'm really wanting you to understand that because, for one, I don't want any of y'all to take as long as it took me to learn that. Suffering from missed opportunities, suffering from feeling alone and feeling sad, feeling depressed because you not feel like you think you're not good enough, missing out on opportunities, missing out on money, and honestly robbing people that would fuck with what you have, robbing them of the opportunity of being able to experience whatever it is that you have to offer because you're afraid that you won't work. So please, I'm telling y'all because I don't want y'all to take as long as it took me to learn. Understand that what you have is gonna work for somebody or people. Your only job is to put yourself out there. And hell, if you get rejected and it doesn't work, It ain't the end of the world. It ain't the end all be all. I promise you, you ain't gonna stop breathing. Your heart ain't gonna stop. You may have an ego hit, but when you understand the thought that, you know what, that person or those people just aren't for me, and that's okay. Somebody else over here may be, you'll be okay. So I just say all of that to say that anybody that's struggling with putting yourself out there or going for the things that you want because you're afraid of getting rejected, understand you don't have to do that. I promise you, everything that you want is out there waiting on you. But if you're gonna have the dating experiences, the success with your business, being able to connect with people that would enjoy your product, your gifts, your talents, to have the connection with your platforms and feel peace around that, you got to tackle those fears of being rejected. I promise you, if you're anything like me, that's one of the biggest roadblocks. If you look at the story, we've seen plenty of stories growing up. The idea of the princess, the knight, and the dragon. You got the princess that's being guarded by the dragon, and you got to slay the dragon to get to the princess, or the treasure. I'll use the treasure. That's a better thing. The treasure is all the things you want. That amazing relationship, that girl. For the well, it doesn't really apply as much for the ladies that may watch this. The business success, the connection with the people that want to enjoy your product, your gifts, your talents. That's the treasure. The dragon is your fear of rejection. How you do it, you got to face it at some point. If you want to get to the treasure, you have got to face your fear of rejection. And I guarantee you, when you face it, you're eventually going to learn, and it's not going to be easy right away, but you'll eventually learn it's not as bad as you think it is. And everything that you want is right there in front of you. So please understand that. Take time to deal with your past, your trauma wounds from your childhood scarcity, your history of rejection, your emotional neglect, anything that made you feel like you're not enough and you got to prove your self-worth. And if somebody likes you or likes what it is that you have to offer, that determines who you are and your worth. You got to deal with those things in order to be able to get where you're trying to go. So understand, if anybody is struggling with this, I see you. I walked those shoes. There's things I'm still cleaning up. So I get it. You're not alone. And I want you to understand, for that very reason, with the fact that so many people struggle with rejection and missing out on things they want out of life, I created a community and a space just to help people to be the best version of themselves who are missing out on having the best things: money, success, business, relationships, dating, confidence, self-esteem, all of these things, because they're afraid of being who they truly are and the best of who they are. So if that's something that sounds like something that you would be interested in, or you need help with being the best version of yourself, or you need help with fixing this problem that you have in your life, I have this community. The information will be in the description below. I also work one-on-one with people. I coach people one-on-one as well and offer those services for anybody who needs more hands-on help as far as fixing this problem that's been keeping you from all of these different things that you want out of your life. That information will be also below, or you can DM me on Instagram. I want to see you all be the very best of who you can be. And I don't want to see you all letting fear of rejection run your life and torpedo your life anymore. That shit stops today. January 2026, that shit stops now. So I want y'all to know, this is D. Lee. We're cleaning up things one video, one conversation at a time. And I want you to know that wherever you go and what you do in your life, that's 100% all on you. And you got it. I promise you, you got it. So I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Before we get out of here, I forgot to mention, y'all make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and or share this to somebody that you may know that you know struggles with these same things. If you think this video brought value to you and would bring value to them, share it so that we can help as many people as possible, because We got to turn up and start living our best lives in 2026. So I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. And until next time, peace and love.